Good morning, this is Onyabike Adventures. My name's Hawk, and today we're taking a ride out to the Misan Holy Lands to visit the ancient remains of the Cham temples there. Now Onyabike Adventures runs this tour as a one-day adventure starting in either Hoi An or Da Nang City and returning back to the same location early afternoon. We run this tour for riders, and we also run this tour for pillions, and they can sit on the back with our staff. We're going to spend the morning riding through the countryside, visiting some really beautiful areas and some historic sites, and then after lunch we'll have a good couple of hours wandering around the beautiful temples at this UNESCO listed World Heritage Site, the Misan Holy Lands. So, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Time for me to shut up and get on your bike. So we very quickly leave town and find ourselves out in the countryside. Really beautiful, riding through these rice paddies, watching the local people farm using traditional methods that have not changed for thousands of years. And dotted around the countryside in the middle of these rice paddies you find these amazing cemeteries, giant graves worth $50,000, $100,000 to celebrate the dead. Most of the graves much more normal sized, but the more important people in the village will build themselves giant palaces like this for when they're dead. Good to look around, beautiful area, and a lot of these stops along the day. Here in Dai Lok, we come up to the top of a hill to visit the war memorial at the former French and then former American military base. The French knew this base as Dai Lok. The Americans named the base here Hill 65, based on height in meters above sea level. So we're 65 meters high, giving us amazing views along the Yen River Valley, and the Americans would have benefited greatly from those views. Lots of important sites for the Americans during their time at war in Vietnam in this area. Liberty Bridge, a few kilometers over there on the river, and Anwar Air Base, which we'll visit later on, not too far over that way. The site now is a war memorial with thousands of names of local people who died during those conflicts between 1945 and 1975. It's a really beautiful place, really interesting place, very somber to think about all those deaths, and you can see the dates born and died and some really, really young soldiers losing their lives in those battles, but very much worthwhile stop on the way to Misan. So out in the countryside, it's nice to stop at the edge of the reservoir, really beautiful, peaceful place. This reservoir here is built to store water up to provide the farmers with the water they need for the rice farming. You have one wet season over the year in October, November in this part of the country, fill up the reservoir, and then you've got 9 or 10 months worth of farming, feeding 2 different crops with water throughout the rest of the year using all this water. This reservoir doesn't generate electricity, it is just used for rice farming water, but a really beautiful place, very peaceful out in the countryside, good place to stop. We're going to keep going on though. Down at the river we're going to jump onto this motorbike ferry as it comes in and take the bikes across. Our bikes are a little bit bigger than the average around here, but the ferry looks strong enough and we should be okay. But yeah, a great way to cross the river. So we're about 30 kilometres west of Hoi An now, and only 4 kilometres from Mison, which sits on in the hills over there. And this is an old runway which was part of Anwar Marine Base. This runway was about 850 metres long and was used by the 1st Marine Division and the 3rd Marine Division between 1966 and 1970. So for 4 years, quite a busy airport. Not a lot left now, just a nice place for the buffalo to wander about and eat some grass, and a great fun track for us to ride down. So it's after lunch, and now it's time to visit the Mison Sanctuary. Now the Mison Sanctuary is the former holy site of the Cham people who used to live and rule South and Central Vietnam. The Cham people were a Hindu culture, so all the temples are dedicated to the god Shiva or various incarnations of the god Shiva. There's over 70 temples in it total, some of them in great condition, other ones in ruins. But we're going to walk around, we're going to visit all the temples, and it's a really interesting historical site and really worthwhile making a visit if you're in the Hoi An area or Da Nang area. So we're up here at Mison, and it's absolutely beautiful. There's 7 different sites up here spread over about a kilometre, each one with a selection of incredible ancient temples built by the Cham emperors. The sites range between about 400 AD and 1500 AD. They were abandoned in 1500 and left overgrown and deserted, and then effectively rediscovered by the French when they were here, colonial times, late 1800s, early 1900s. And the French started some restoration work at these sites and some archaeology. But then during the wartime, for 30 years, they were once again mainly abandoned, although they were used during the late 60s, early 70s by the Viet Cong as a base. And the Americans eventually dropped bombs on the site. One of the sites shows evidence of a lot of damage from those bombs. Most of the sites are in not bad condition, just slightly decrepit due to age rather than anything else. Walking around the site, you'll find all of these stone artifacts lying around, many of them looking very phallic. This is a stone artifact to represent the linga of the god Shiva, the male god. That is a phallic symbol. It is basically a stone cock, and this is one of the artifacts that the Cham people would come to worship, believing that by touching the linga they would get some of Lord Shiva's power bestowed on them. So why not, when in Rome? Wow, what a ride! That was a great day out. We've been through the countryside, we've seen historical sites from the wartime, we've seen beautiful views, we've ridden on dirt, on tarmac, on concrete, on gravel, and of course those amazing temples up at the Mison Holy Lands. What a day! Onyabike Adventures has tours throughout the country, north, centre and south, ranging from 1-day tours up to 21-day, 3-week tours if you can want to see the whole country in one go. We've got tours for riders of all abilities, and we've got tours for pillion riders, those who do not have a motorbike licence and sit on the back with our staff. Now I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please hit the like button. If you love motorbikes, if you want to find out more about Vietnam, or you just need to see more of me, all you've got to do is subscribe to the channel. So thanks for watching, hope you've enjoyed the video. Time for me to shut up and get on your bike.